Okay, so today we're going to take a look at creating pie charts. So before we get started, you will need yourself a compass. Okay, I recommend the metal ones, the old school ones. They're much better than the plastic ones. They seem to fall apart. You will need a ruler and you will need a protractor. So protractor and compass. Okay, that's all you will need. Oh, sorry, and a calculator. Calculator, make your life easy. So let's just take a look. I've got some pre-made data here. So what we did was we did a survey and we got people's favorite classical, hip hop, rock, R&B, and jazz music, and we worked out how do people like it. Frequency refers to how often something occurs. So like 3 people like classical, 8 people like hip hop, and so on. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a pie chart to represent this information. So how do we make a pie chart? Well, we need to work out what each one of these represents in terms of degrees and angles. So you need to remember that there's 360 degrees in a circle. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to find out what fraction of the data is classical. So we're going to have to count up how many people there are in total. So we're going to add 3 plus 8 plus 11 plus 6 plus 2. So 3 plus 8 plus 11 plus 6 plus 2. If you're like me and you can't use a calculator, but that's 30. So there are 30 people in this survey. So I'm just going to put a little note, 30 people total. Okay. Right. Now, how much of the 30 people is this? Well, I'm going to say it's 3 over 30. 3 out of 30. Okay. So 3 out of 30, you can simplify that down to 1/10. I'm not going to for now. The next would be 8 out of 30, 11 out of 30, 6 out of 30, and 2 out of 30. Okay. So, and I am going to say how much of 360? Well, this is 3 out of 30 or 1/10, let's say. It's 1/10 of 360. So we just times it by 360. Okay, so if we times each of these by 360, we're going to get what it's worth in degrees. So let's see what happens there. So 3 times, so literally all I'm doing in the calculator is to show it here. I'll get that nice there. 3 over 30 multiplied by 360. That's all I'm doing on the calculator. And I get that it's 36 degrees. Okay. $96 degrees. You can go ahead and try do this ahead of me. Probably be faster and more adept at the calculator than I am. 132 degrees. 6 over 30 multiplied by 360, 72, and then the final amount, 2 over 30 multiplied by 360. Now, I deliberately picked numbers that they weren't super nice, do you mean, that you're maybe used to seeing. But now, I've done this and I'm maybe in an exam or I'm doing this question. I'm not sure if I'm right. So a way to check is all of these angles should add up to be 360 degrees. So you can say, I'll go from the bottom up, 24 plus 72 plus 132 plus 96 plus, plus 36. And sure enough, I do get back to 360. So that's a great way of checking you're right. Okay, cool. So now we're going to draw a pie chart. Now, if you're in an exam, they often draw the circle for you, but you're going to have to do it yourself here if you're doing it here. So firstly, make sure your pencil that you have borrowed from, thank you, IKEA, make sure your pencil is securely in and that it is sharpened, okay? Kind of pick what size you want the circle to be, so extend it out. I'm just trying to see here so I don't go off camera. So, and then just, if you can, do it very lightly. Well, not lightly, actually, very firmly on the page, pressing down. Now, you should definitely use a slightly darker shade of pencil here, but this is absolutely fine. I think we can pick it up fine on the camera. And after you've done that, make sure to put in the dot of where you placed the sharp bit. Okay, cool. We're 90% of the way there now, lads. So, what I like to do is I just draw a line going to either side. So personally I like to just start always like this, to the right. Okay, I'm just going to draw a single line like that, and that is me started the problem. So, okay, we've got our pie chart ready to go. We're going to do our first angle of 36 degrees. So just be careful when you're looking at the scales here. You'll notice there's 2, there's 0 to 90, and then there's the 180 to 90. So we're counting from 0 because we're trying to get to 36. So we're going 0, 10, 20, 30. And then we're going to count up 6 of these little digits. That's 35, that kind of middle one, and the one over. Now, how do you then mark it on your diagram? So you're going to put the crosshair. Okay, the crosshair is going over the dot that you've made in the center, and make sure that this arm here is in line with the line that you just drew. So it should be overlapping perfectly. So if it's like this, it's off. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be on the center, overlapping perfectly. Okay. And then we're going to go up to 36 degrees. So I go 0, 10, 20, 30, and I'm going to put a little dot out here at 36, right? So just a little dot for myself. Now notice it's outside my circle. That's okay. All we do is we just use that dot as a reference. We're going to go from the center, have the dot there in line, and just draw your little arc like that. Okay, there you go. Now you can check it again if you want. You should get that is 36 degrees. Checking it again, and sure enough, looks like it's 36 degrees. Happy days. So last thing is to mark this piece of pie. So I'm going to say that this is classical. Classical. Okay, classical music. So that's it for drawing your first angle. Now, where the mistake happens is drawing the next angle. So let's go to drawing 96 degrees. So don't start in the same position. Okay, don't start here where you started last time. Shift it around so you're starting on the next one. So again, get this part in line, okay, with the edge of the slice of pie. Yum, yum. This over the center. Okay, if it helps, by the way, feel free to turn your page around if you prefer to do it this way. Which I might just show here just to demo. So turn your page around and now you'll see, oh yeah, I'm more used to seeing that. Now 96 is going to go beyond the 90. So you've got 0 to 90 and then you have to add on 6. So I'm going to put my dot out. I'll just double check this and move a bit fast for myself there. I'm going to put my dot right about there. Okay. Same thing again. Just going to recenter that for myself. Same thing again. I'm just going to grab my ruler and I'm going to connect it to the dot out there. But I'm actually just going to stop at the edge of the circle, obviously. Now, you have a pencil. You can always go ahead, and you always do this in pencil, by the way, in case you make a mistake. You can rub out these dots. Okay, I'm just not going to bother now, but you can knock yourself out. So this area is hip-hop. And don't forget to give it a name. You can, if you want, write in the angle in here, like 96 degrees, if you like. There's no problem doing that as well. Just might get too cluttered looking. Okay, cool. Let's see if we can do the other ones a little bit faster. So I'm going to rotate this around because I definitely find it easier to always have my my protractor like this. So I'm going to place that there, and I'm going to go to 132. So I've got a bit of a glare on mine, but don't worry. But we're going to go 0 all the way to 90, then to 130, and add on 2. So 2 little dashes in. Okay. Now, if you're looking at mine going, there's a lot of dots on your page. It's just there's a bit of dust that fell on the table. But there we go. There's my 132. So this one was rock, obviously. Rock and roll. So rock. Okay. Now, I'm going to continue going around. I'm going to spin my page around. There's no problem spinning the page. You do not have to keep it the same way and confuse yourself needlessly. So go to the edge of the rock one that you just made, put it on the center, head to 72, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and go 2 more, 2 little dashes. So there we are, roughly around there. Okay, perfect. I'm going to be good and use the ruler. So to the center again, out to the dot. Hey, presto. So that part there, spinning it back around, that was R&B music, rhythm and blues. So R&B. And then finally, this one in here that's left must be jazz. Now, what I would do with the jazz is I would make sure to just check that it is right. So I'm going to put it on the center. I'm going to draw it at the start of the arc, and I'm going to just measure what it should be. And I'm getting it here to be bang on 24 degrees, which is actually exactly what I was supposed to have. So perfect. Okay. So in essence, that is how you make any pie chart. So just to go through again the basic steps. First off, count to have the total number of people or number of items you have. Okay. So for this, it was 3 over 30, 8 over 30, 11 over 30, 6 over 30, 2 over 30, and times them always by 360. So if you had, 84 people in total, it would be 3 over 84, 8 over 84, and so on and so forth. So it's always the fraction by 360 gives you the degrees. Quick check is to just add them all up till they give you 360. And once you're done, to just plot it. And that's it for creating a pie chart. Best of luck.